Another finding. Customers don't perceive smartphones as being of high utility. So we saw a lot of customers that get smartphones for watching videos, Facebook, maybe like some communication, but it's usually for entertainment purposes primarily. And they still keep their feature phone for like texting or for doing USSD mobile money. So because smartphones are not necessarily, from the mass market perspective, seen as very high utility, like I can do a lot of things that will make my life easier, people are not necessarily of the mind of using it for something of high utility like mobile money. So we also need to figure out ways to get people, to think of smartphones and mobile money services as like the easiest, most desirable option by actually trying to show what the resonant benefits are of mobile money. So again, we're trying to tie these findings to then our design process by creating these opportunity statements from the finding. I think this one's really important. Maybe this should even be the first one. Distrust in technology prevents customers from independent use of mobile money services, and also then kind of creates this persistent reliance on agents and OTC. Our goal in this project is not to replace OTC. We know that many of your companies have actually decided that OTC is a channel that you really want to boost and strengthen and scale. That's great. But is there a way that we can complement OTC with smartphone apps? Are there certain transactions and services that users can just do independently in their own homes, and then other services that it makes sense to go to an agent for? So we need to figure out like the balance between leveraging our agent network, but also creating kind of simple opportunities for customers to do transactions in their own home. Again, mobile money will never fully be profitable and scalable if every single transaction I need to go to the agent. Because me as a user, I probably won't go to the agent for certain very minimal transactions because it's not worth my time or the effort. So we need to find that balance. And part of the challenge there is trusting that if and when I do a transaction on my own in my home, it will successfully go through and I won't incur some penalty or make a mistake and lose money. So we have to figure out ways to build the trust. So trust building and confidence building was a big focus point of our app design. Our agents are not really incentivized to help customers explore the app, or explore USSD for that matter. So agents don't get like a commission by teaching customers all of the other services and uses of mobile money, right? So we have to find ways to allow customers to do that exploration process on their own, or can the app actually serve as a platform that helps teach customers about the varied uses of mobile money? And you'll see that again in the app design. So one interesting thing, and this is not just in Pakistan, this is globally, customers that successfully independently use mobile money are more likely to use it again, and they're also more likely to be catalysts of other people using mobile money. So if I successfully use mobile money on my own, I'm more likely to teach my mom or my brother or my auntie and help them do a transaction. So you want people to be having first time really positive experiences so that they can then catalyze the use for other people as well. Again, we took that into consideration during our design. So a couple of things came out as priority areas for the design of the app from our user interviews. Again, one is onboarding. It was for sure like first time experience, critical. We have to make that a positive experience. In behavioral research globally, if people have a bad first experience, you almost lose them completely. So we have to make sure that that first experience is really positive. Usability and desirability of key flows. We should really be focusing on improving the user experience of those most popular, most used transactions. Send, receive money, load up on airtime, pay bills, whatever the core transactions for your customers are, that's where we should start focusing on making those transaction flows as user-friendly as possible. And then we can start thinking about those additional add-on services as well. We have to find ways to make features and benefits of mobile money more salient, more top of mind, easily identified by the user. And smartphones provide a wonderful channel and opportunity for us to do that, which is great. And then, like I mentioned, first-time use for key transactions. Okay, so I'm almost done. After all of that research, the competitive audit, the stakeholder interviews, and then our user interviews, we landed on a set of design focal areas. And again, this will be a bit repetitive, but just to show you how we culled all of those different research points into our perspective for this app. We needed to figure out how to optimize key transactions for a high success rate. Sounds obvious, but critical, yeah? Fundamental. We had to use the onboarding experience. So not registration, but once they've registered their first time into the mobile money app, that moment is so critical. We have to use that experience to help users understand the value and really the potential of mobile money, yeah? The third was we have to come up with a visual language that includes assets as well as guidelines. So what are the icons that make the most sense for our key transactions? What should the help icon look like? We tested a whole range of things, and Adam will speak to some of this later. And we think that we've arrived at a set of visual cues and icons that really convey both the transactions and then the other features within the app that are necessary for customers. The fourth, contextual help throughout the app is really critical, especially for the first time people are doing certain transactions. So is there a way, without being annoying and intrusive, that we can provide educational tips or contextual help throughout the app? Who here remembers back in the day, Microsoft had, in Word, had Clippy? Do you guys remember Clippy, which is like the little help thing? He was intended to be like this helpful little tip guy that would show up at key times. But he was so annoying. He was like a major failure for Microsoft because you couldn't like close him. I don't know if you guys remember this. Like, you couldn't get rid of him. He was this like annoying little clip, paper clip that would never go away. So we don't want our contextual help to be irritating and intrusive, but you do want it to be easily available. And Adam will show you how we think we've come up with a solution to that challenge. We need to make other features of mobile money more salient throughout the app without taking away from the primary actions. So we still want people to very easily be able to go in. If they just want to send money, great. It needs to be really easy to do. But we want to find ways to make these other services that you're all developing identifiable and easily accessible for people so that they don't have to spend a lot of time or energy like searching through a long list of menu options. They can easily identify and find. So last comment from me is around our target segment. We debated this a lot internally at Grid and then also with Karandaaz and with some providers as well. This project is really meant to find ways to get towards financial inclusion goals, which in Pakistan really thinks about lower literate, lower income, and women users. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the user is low literate, low income woman, but we think about women, we think about low literate customers or non-literate, we think about low income, maybe individuals have some combination of those characteristics. But Karandaaz, as a financial inclusion organization, is really thinking about how do we get those types of individuals using mobile money and involved in the system. We debated this a lot. One idea was you design an app just for people that fit that category. The problem with that is that actually excludes them from the market. If you create an app that is meant for low literate, women, low income people, you're basically alienating them from the broader economy and market. So it actually sends like the wrong message. Even though it sounds like you're tailoring something for their needs, it actually sends the wrong message. No other mobile money provider is doing that around the world. So what we cared about is how do we actually design an app that's for the mass market, so for average users and customers in Pakistan, but that has features that will help include lower income, lower literate female users. At the same time, include high literate, high income, let's say men, but it could actually be gender neutral. How do we create an app that actually works for the masses while making sure that we are figuring out ways to include those that are traditionally excluded? So just wanted to be very clear that this project does have a focus on, again, lower literate, lower income users and female users, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's mutually exclusive from your mass market users as well. And I think what you'll see, some of the feedback we got from providers during our prototyping was that certain icons or our assistant, our help function, maybe was like too focused on the low income, low literate. I think you'll see that where we landed is a nice compromise. And we look forward to your feedback on that.